into Freckle. And now that we've been kind of going over the assignments and turning them in, what we're going to talk about though is how to look at the data and what we can do with it.
So do I need to get a roster?
You can go to, actually the first thing I want to look at is activity feed. So if you look at your activity feed, you've got like your most questions correct. That's what you can look at for the week. If you want to change your time period, you can change it to the day, current month, and all of that.
Okay.
Let's just keep it at current week since it's a Friday. I've been using the most questions correct and least questions correct to kind of figure out who I'm going to be intervening with.
Right.
The least questions correct and the lowest accuracy. This one here and this one. Lowest accuracy. No, those are the two that I've been looking at the most.
Okay.
And then you've got your kids. You can see your scores, and it just gives you your color codes, so you can easily see who you need to work with. The activity feed, I've been using that the most when it comes to pause and AA. I just open this up and find who I need to work with, and that's generally just for the week though. But you can make it longer if you wanted to.
Okay.
So like in the past 3 months,
Right.
you know, how are these kids doing overall? They might be okay. The next thing, if you go over here to assignments, yep, and you have different assignments than I do, but essentially you've got your blue, which shows the kids that are done, and then your yellow are kids that are working on it, and then the white is no, they haven't started it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to show you this targeted practice 00 that I've done that's almost completed.
Okay.
This you can see, you've got your names, the time completed, and time spent. Like right here, I can see that like this student left it open.
Right.
And then he got a 0%, which
Yeah.
tells me that he left it open and then just completed it really fast.
Right.
So then I can show you how to reassign that too. But you can use this data to try to figure out first how long students are taking and then their scores.
Right.
And then I was looking at their scores, and you can, if you want to click on maybe this one that's mostly done for you, you can click your score, and then it'll put them in order by score. And then if you click it again, it'll do the opposite. So now it's backwards. Yeah. So now I can see my students that are lower up here right at the top.
Yeah, I've noticed I can't really look at the time spent
Yeah.
because they leave their Chromebook open.
Yeah. So that could be something too that when we look at, if you click a student, click on somebody who's got like an 80% or something like that. Yeah, like that one. Click that
the
blue, and then you can see here the specific questions that are green they got right, the red ones they're wrong. But if you click on so like my number 2, what is the value of X? The correct answer is 10 and they put a 1. I can see the question specifically, and I can see, oh, it was a multiple choice. There are some questions though, I wonder if I can find one, that are, so that one would have been select all that apply.
So is this a 10 question quiz thing?
This one was a 10
Okay.
question, yeah. And some of them are even fill in the blank. Like this one is a fill in the blank.
Right.
So I had another student for this one, a similar question. The answer was like 9/10, and they just put a 9. So I could see that they kind of had the idea,
Right.
but it counted it wrong. So there's something else you can look at. You could print those and send them home if you wanted to. But then also,
So when you go to print that,
yeah,
does it show just what's on the screen right now then?
yep. And it will show.
Oh, and it actually gives
It'll
exactly what the question looks like.
Yep.
Okay,
So
that's nice.
then parents can see that.
Right, that's good. Okay.
The next, let's go over here to reports. So click on your math and then go to reports. report cards, performance, there's all these different things that we can look at. Let's go ahead, and the first one I want to look at is the pre-test report. It's down at the bottom. These are what the students that do their adaptive score or their adaptive tests. This tells you exactly how many students have taken it and where they're at. So like your base 10, you've had 34 kids who've taken it. If you click on that, I have 25. It'll show you which kids have done it, and then it'll tell you their pre-test level. And if you want to have them redo it, you can hit reset.
Gotcha.
So it just kind of tells you exactly what level they're at.
So if you reset, then it will pre-test them, and then they could potentially get to a higher level. Like this kid's in 2nd grade.
Right, but then the adaptive too, so like your pre-test, it'll figure out where they're at, and then it starts them there.
Right.
If they retake it and it starts them higher,
Right,
then it'll start them
right.
there. Yeah.
So basically, if I look at one of my students and their pre-test level doesn't really match what I feel like they are,
Yeah.
then you should probably click the reset
You
button
can
for
reset
them.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Another thing too, so if I have this particular student is in 3rd grade and NBT 1, that standard, if I click that standard for him, I have all of this information. Like if I was working up at my desk with him for intervention, I can then click here and have him watch this instructional video, or I can find out more resources. And we're going to come back to that page later too.
Okay.
But that's a bunch of resources.
Yeah, that's nice.
Go back to reports on the left, and let's do report cards. So report cards can show you how many questions they've gotten all year, and so on. But I looked at mainly, the one thing I was looking at was their learning level and their report. So click on their report card, and you can see growth. Yep. So you'll be able to see growth using those lines. Now we haven't been using this a whole lot, so it's the lines aren't very long due to the time frame, but you can have it for the entire year.
So, are we seeing this because we're on the free edition? Like you know how we have the month that
Yeah.
we are getting paid?
Mm-hmm.
Like when we go back down next month to the free because we don't have the paid,
Yeah.
will we be able to see any of this?
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
Yep. We can still see this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll still be able to see this. But you can just hopefully that their growth is going up. So I would
Right.
rather use this information, this data, than the other information we've been using with other scores.
Right. And their learning level on that,
Yeah.
that's just like the grade level that they're putting them at, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the grade level they're putting them at. And I feel that these are actually reliable.
Yeah, I was gonna say they look a little bit more accurate than the other things that we're using.
Yep. Go to reports again over here.
Okay.
Performance by standard. This puts your whole group together. So you'll be able to see like your whole class. So if you go up to the top, you can see that for this 3 NBT1, that's how many questions have been answered overall. Green is they've scored 80% or better, yellow is 50 to 80%, and then red is
Gotcha.
less than 50. So you can see like on my first one up here, I've had this many questions because I've assigned some of those, and I still have some green, yellow, and then red.
Okay.
Now, yellow means that they could have missed
Ooh, what did you click? Just the
2.
bar?
Yep, just click
Okay.
the bar, and it
Okay.
will show you even the students' names.
That's super nice. I
Yep.
like that feature.
Yep, and then if you click their specific name, so I click this student, it will show you what they did, how long, questions, and their score, and then you can click on it again. And it will take you back to that screen that we've already looked at. That.
Gotcha.
Yep, so it takes you back to there.
Okay, so like how do I now go back to the screen that we were at with
Just
all
hit-
my kids?
just
Just
hit
click, okay.
Yep. Now, those are pretty handy. I've used these to see how I've done. So I kind of look at this and say, all right, I've been doing well here, but I need probably more instruction here,
Right.
and so on. So that's what I've been using those for. The farther down you go, though, the less questions have been asked. So I go down into here, and there's only been 40 questions asked. So that might
And
not
these
be.
are probably all in their adaptive.
Yeah, these are all from a lot of the
paths that
adapted,
they're doing.
but
Okay.
then these up here are the ones that I've assigned.
Right.
And you can change it too by domain if you want it to just be,
Oh, okay.
you know, just your base 10.
Gotcha.
And you can change it by month too. Maybe I wanna look at just the current week instead,
Okay.
rather than the whole year.
Right.
So,
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
yeah, but this is actually pretty nice data.
Yeah.